Hello everyone, it is Cooper Mushroom here. Before I start telling you what this video is about, I want to say thank you for 72 subscribers. I did not think I would get this far without any of you guys' help, and I greatly appreciate it. So, today's video I'm going to be teaching the newcomers out there how to play Mario Kart Wii. Because as anyone with common sense would know, not everybody is a Mario Kart Wii veteran. Some people have started with Mario Kart 7 or Mario Kart 8 or something. Hell, some people have even started Mario Kart 64 and haven't really even touched the Wii. Or World. Or Mario Kart World. That's the most recent one. So, anyone who likes or would like to learn about Mario Kart Wii is in this video right here. So, I'm going to be teaching most things like drifting, tricks, wheelies, drift types, and all of that. So, stay tuned in case you want to learn all about this game, and I will be happy to help. So, enjoy the video, and now it's time to get into it. So for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to be using time trials because it has everything I need. Items, course selection, vehicles, etc. So it all starts from the character select screen right here. You have a catalog of plenty of characters, okay? Split into multiple categories: small, medium, and large. The Mii's down there, under Funky and Dry Bowser, being whatever height that you set them in the Wii menu, or the Mii channel or something. It's a little complicated, but, you know, we're not worrying about that right now. So, just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to be choosing Mario.
Mario time!
So, these vehicles are split into little categories here. Just two of them. We have karts, which are normally faster, and we have bikes, which bikes have the unique feature of inside drift for some of these bikes, like the Mach Bike, Sneakster, and Dolphin Dasher, and also wheeling, which will increase the speed of your bike, which is why people mostly prefer bikes. But personally, I think karts work too. So how about we're gonna start with a kart. Standard kart N is the one we're gonna be starting with. So, I'm gonna be teaching essential skills like what to do in straight lines in a race, or what to do anywhere else related to that. But before I choose a course, you, viewer, have to choose your drift type. So, the drift types in this game are quite distinctive. Not by a huge margin, but, you know. So, manual drifting is how it has been, you know, for years. You press a button, you hop, and you start drifting. But, the problem is, with manual, if you turn regularly without drifting, then you're going to lose speed. Honestly, that is a fair trade-off, but you know. Automatic is a mode mostly tailored to beginners. Well, at least that's what I think. So, automatically drifts for you whenever you turn, obviously, without pressing any buttons. And as a great deal to this, just to be in more favor of beginners, you will not lose speed whenever you turn with this. Now, even if automatic is kind of tailored to beginners, that does not stop a lot of people from using it, because it is a preferred playstyle among a lot of Mario Kart Wii players. So come on, not everyone on the planet uses manual. I use manual, but that doesn't matter. Anyway, we're gonna go for Luigi Circuit. Okay. now's the time that I teach you about the rocket start, where you are able to start the race with a boost. So, Lakitu, or Lakitu, or whatever you call him, will start counting down at the start of the race. So, it'll go from 3, 2, and 1, obviously. At the second beep, and the 2 starts to fade, that's when you start holding your acceleration button, and you'll get a boost. So, let's give it a try. So, second beep, 1, 2, and then you hold the button. There you are, a solid rocket start. You get the head start in many races with this. It proves to be quite useful. So, something that is very crucial is drifting, whether it be automatic or manual. So what you do is you press your buttons to move forward, obviously. While you hold that button, you hold the brake button, the back button, which is your drift button when you move forward. Like if I were to press B, which is the reverse button, you can see that I hop since I'm on manual. The same thing goes for the triggers. So what you do is you hold the trigger while you're moving forward, and you will start drifting. Now, to put this in a little more detail, will turn to a specific direction as you hold the trigger, and then it'll start moving towards whatever direction that you were trying to go in. So let's say you're moving left, you're turning left, and then you can hold the trigger. Then you'll start drifting to the left. Same thing goes for right. Now drift control is a different thing. When you're controlling your drift, it means something completely different. So if you're drifting to the right and then you slam your stick to the opposite side, left in this situation, then your drift will be a little more loosened up and you'll start moving back away from trying to drift around. And same thing goes for left as well. So drifting works for pretty much everything. So if you have these little boost pads right here in Fuji Circuit, you can use control of the drift to mess around with that. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart again, and I'm going to go back to the usual. 2, 1. Oh, there we go, rocket start. So you can press the X button to look behind yourself, at least on controllers, or GameCube controllers. As for Wii remote, you have to press the A button, which is not very hard to do actually, but that's okay. Now for items. See the box at the top left corner of your screen, okay? That is your item. Right now, I currently have triple mushrooms. Now, as a quick history lesson, mushrooms are pretty cool. They boost you forward. In fact, they give you the chance to hit shortcuts, which is something you'll be learning later. Shortcuts are very important in Mario Kart Wii, or in Mario Kart as a whole, because it kind of helps you win more races. Or at least gets you forward, and a little more ahead of the crowd. Since everyone in the race will be hitting each other with items and stuff like that, so you need to step ahead of the game. So, that's your items. Items are used in different methods and ways, so it's always good to be creative with them. So, if I were to go to battle mode to show you more of these items, then I can teach you about the different items that are in Mario Kart Wii. It's kind of a balloon battle.
Yeah.
The usual. So, we're on battle mode now. And there are item boxes scattered around the area. In order to collect items, you need to drive into the item boxes. Item boxes are very hard to miss as they're usually scattered across races, and for this context, the whole map. So, the Mega Mushroom, for example, is an item that will give you invincibility and the ability to slam into other racers and knock them out. This is similar to the Star, which is also kind of like the Mega Mushroom, except that you don't turn big. So, I'm gonna press the left trigger on my controller, or for my Wii remote homies, use the D-pad. There you go. Yeah, run into the enemies, and then it knocks them out, or at least flattens them since it's the Mega Mushroom. Now for the banana. So the banana is more of a defensive item that you're able to use to do a multitude of things. Deflect shells. Also, keep enemies away from you. Like if an enemy is trying to get past you in a race, you can just drive right up in front of them and then hit them with bananas. Same thing with shells, except that shells are more of a defensive. You're able to use shells to stop enemies on their tracks. More specifically, red shells, which will home in on opponents. So, the blue shell, which I hope I can get some footage of. So, the blue shell is an item that you are able to use somewhere in 5th, 6th, or something like that. Don't really use the blue shell like that because I usually play offline and I suck at the game. But you know, blue shells target the person in first place, and when it explodes, it'll take the person in first along with anyone that's caught in its radius. Kind of like a Bob-omb who's extremely angry at specific people. So, if I were to play this here, that rocket boost got me good at the start, so I'm able to get the upper hand from the beginning of the race. So, weight classes in that are taken heavy account in races because you don't want to get knocked off to the side like a Gmod Ragdoll. So this is why a lot usually heavier. But I believe it is okay to pick who everyone wants to pick. Now, a sweat boost is a boost that you get from constantly staying in front of the opponent or behind the opponent. And it'll give you a subtle boost, kind of like a mushroom would, except that you can't go on the off-road. But should give you enough speed to get past the opponent, like this. See, just like that. So, jump like this, remember to drift. So, fake item blocks now. Fake item blocks are obviously fake. So, if you were to run into them, you would be knocked out. Now, the fake item blocks used to be very tricky in the older Mario games, but now they're just hidden in plain sight. So, at this point, pretty sure I should probably get a shell by now. Explain those. Oh wait, I already had a shell already. And I got another fake block. Let me just... Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna get out of this. I think you already saw how the shells work. Didn't get a blue shell, which is extremely odd because I always get hit by a blue shell. Anyway, back to time trials. Now we're on to bikes, because I think we've been looking at this cart for too long. So let's start messing around with bikes. Go on daily circuit. So bikes are a different story from karts. They have a slower base speed than karts, but what bikes have that karts do not is wheeling. So if you were to go forward and then you were to flick your Wii remote upwards, or press up on the D-pad for my GameCube homies, then you will do a wheelie, which will gradually increase your speed as you go. Which is also why people favor bikes. Because it's almost like a mini turbo of sorts. Meaning if you were to mix a mini turbo with a wheelie, you'll have all of that extra speed you can gain from a wheelie from the start of it. So wheelies are very important. In fact, they're a great way to start whenever you want to get more characters from your save file or something like that. It's really easy to use. The only thing that you have to be doing while you're wheeling is moving. But there's only one drawback. Wheeling is great, it is. But once you get bumped, you lose all of the speed that you had when you were accelerating. Meaning, once you get bumped in the wheelie, then you're just gonna be there trying to speed up again. So it's always good to know how to cancel a wheelie. So there's a multitude of ways you can cancel a wheelie. One for manual and one for automatic, by the way. So to cancel a wheelie, you can go forward and then you press your drift button, obviously. And another way you can just stop moving. But I think I like the other option better. So another way to stop wheeling for automatic is to just turn. You know, turn to the side and then the game will start drifting for you and cancel the wheelie. Both work extremely well, and it's a great way to avoid getting bumped while you're in the wheelie. In fact, they're both very reliable ways. Now, it's time for me to tell you about Inside Drift bikes. Now, Inside Drift bikes are different from the other bikes, or karts. Since, as I probably have stated before, outside drift means if you are to drift, your car or vehicle goes a little more outward. Okay. So that means when you're taking a drift, instead of taking the full turn, it's gonna move to the other side a little. So it's always better to take the full turn so you don't accidentally hit a wall or fall into the off-road. So this is why people use inside drift bikes, which are usually generally faster. So I'm going to go over Mario Circuit. See, there you go. Rocket boost. Now, as for inside drift bikes, these take turns much more sharply. You can see how the vehicle does not move backwards a little, move to the other side as you drift. It takes the full turn and removes any hazards of potentially falling into the off-road or accidentally backing up into a wall. This is usually favored by a lot, and I can see why, because it's very good. But for beginners, it'll take a little bit of practice to get used to the new drifting style, because all the other vehicles, literally all of the other vehicles, other than 3 specific bikes, are outside drift. So, with a lot of people will be experimenting with a lot of these vehicles, and will see the pattern change whenever they see the inside drift bikes. Now it's time to move on to the other weight classes. Now the other weight classes, small and large, have different stats because of their class. So, for example, small characters have less speed, but they also have more acceleration, or more mini turbo, or sometimes even more off-road. But bigger characters have more speed and weight, rather than mini turbo on some vehicles, or even handling. Looking at you, Jet Center. But what makes the larger characters so well known is their bike selections, because larger characters have different bikes than everyone else. Their outside drift bikes, or at least the majority of them, are Wario bikes. And since they have 3 Wario bikes, that also means they only have 2 inside drift bikes. And those inside drift bikes being the Spear and the Flame Runner. Give me 1 second, please, as I fix my controls. They have 2 inside drift bikes, the Spear and the Flame Runner. Now, the Flame Runner is widely known as the best vehicle in the game because of its high speed, weight, drift, off-road, and also the fact that it's an inside drift and it can wheelie. And I can see, mostly, why people love this thing. Also because it looks cool. So, that is it for the characters and the weight classes and stuff. Now, I'm not going to get into specifics like secret stats and stuff. I'll make a separate video about those once I do a little more research. But for right now, let's just stick to the basic stuff. Now, if you have a burning question in your mind, beginner friends, which specific vehicles should I use for harder difficulties, like 150cc or Mirror? Personally, I'd say that's completely up to you. Now, if I were to have some recommendations, I'd say the Wild Wing, or probably any of these inside drift vehicles, because the sharper turns and higher mini turbo, not you. Or maybe the off-road, just in case you ever get off-road in some of these harder races, and you need some help with that. Now, with all these characters around here, they're mostly the same. The only difference being a few secret stats and their vehicle designs. When it comes to weight classes, that is. Mediums, they're normally just the same as each other, same as the small characters and the large ones. Yes, I know about the secret stats still, but I still consider these characters to be mostly the same. So that is it on the characters. Now it's time for me to teach you about the Grand Prix. So the Grand Prix mode's exactly what you would expect. It's a Grand Prix, a series of a few races, split into cups. So the goal of these races, as if with any Mario Kart game, is to get first place. And keep first place. These races are usually split into 4 courses. Not sure if they're really supposed to be based on the cup, but I'm gonna make a safe guess and say that no, they're not. Not in the slightest. No, not even. But that's okay. Because a cup is a cup, a course is a course. Mario Kart is Mario Kart. So you can pick any of these in whichever order you'd like, but at the start of your game, I will not forget to note this, you will only be able to play these 4 cups until you complete whichever cups are in that category. Now, you may have noticed that with some of these cups in the top and bottom row, you can see letters or abbreviations for older consoles on the bottom side. Well, these cups on the top are called Nitro Cups. These cups races are completely new to the Mario Kart series at that time. Meanwhile, the Retro Cups are on the bottom side, which come from older Mario Kart games, like, say, Peach Beach, says GCN, which is GameCube. So, Peach Beach comes from Mario Kart Double Dash, or DS Yoshi Fall, which comes from Mario Kart DS. And so on and so forth. So that's just another thing you should probably keep note on. Now, Time Trials is another mode. You can use this mode to kind of freshen up your skills on certain tracks, see how fast you can beat them. Personally, I am not very amazing at this game. I'm just good. That's as good as it gets. So I've had a few times in here, like that. In fact, I had a lot more times on my Wii, but you know. You're able to hone your skills on your tracks and also race the Staff Ghost. Now, the Staff Ghosts are times set by Nintendo just for you to beat. Now, you beat these Staff Ghosts to unlock a few characters or maybe a few vehicles. And to know how you beat a Staff Ghost is if a stronger, more quick Staff Ghost comes in, also known as a fast Staff Ghost. The fast Staff Ghosts are absolutely brutal, but that's okay. I've beaten one or two of them in my time, but I have beaten all of the regular Staff Ghosts, so I wouldn't need to worry about that. Now, as for everything else, like versus mode and battle mode, I should start with versus here just because this is probably a mode that you'll be playing often, maybe. Now, versus mode is quite simple. You're able to choose between two versus racing modes. Solo race, where it's kind of like a Grand Prix, except that you can choose whatever courses that you like. Or team race, which is a completely different system, where racers are split into two teams, and they fight for, obviously, the highest placing. But the gimmick is, all the placings that each team has are added up to one huge chart. So let's say red team got a couple of points, that's all added into one sum. And same thing goes for blue team. So for this mode, I highly prioritize assisting your teammates to getting into higher places, because for me, all my teammates are usually garbage, so, you know. So up here, you can go into the rules and you're able to choose the speed class and even choose mirror right here. You will choose the difficulty of the CPUs, you can choose whatever vehicles the CPUs use, and you can also choose the courses that are selected. I usually choose random because I don't feel like going inside the menu individually choosing the courses because I love all the courses in this game. You can also choose the race count. You know, choose how many times you would like to race through specific tracks and stuff before the award ceremony plays. Now, items, you're able to choose what kind of items are present in the race. Now, I'm going to tell you about what these ones mean, okay? So, strategic and aggressive items are distinctively different, obviously. So, I'm going to start with balanced. So, balanced is the regular item pool. It determines which items you get depending on your placing. Now, aggressive items means you will get more items that will tailor to hitting opponents rather than trying to get, you know, farther forward. But it does kind of help when you're trying to get a little more ahead in the race. like more powerful items like blue shells or triple red shells or bullet bills will come out way more often. And it's gonna pretty much be World War 500 Mario Kart Edition. So strategic items come in the form of triple mushrooms or triple bananas, stuff that you will use strategically, like shortcuts or defensive tactics and stuff like that. Or you could just choose none. There's that. Anyway, as for battle mode, it is mostly the same, except that there are two modes in battle mode, just like versus mode. Balloon battle. Any Mario Kart OG should know this, even though nobody really plays battle like that. Balloon battle is basically a mode where you go around the map, you pick up items, and then you toss these items at your opponents to get rid of their bubbles. Well, balloons. Bubbles. Balloons. Whatever you call them. I used to call them bubbles, because they look like bubbles. Almost. At least in Mario Kart Wii they do. But, you know, when you take a balloon from an opponent, that's like taking a life, you know? You have limited lives in one singular spawn. So if you get hit by a red shell 3 times, you're gonna lose a point from your pool of points, thanks to your team also fighting in there. And you will respawn at a different location. Pretty simple, pretty easy. I recommend playing this mode with aggressive items on, because it is quite fun seeing explosions go on everywhere and also getting destroyed by blue shells every 5 minutes. Anyway, now for coin runners. Coin runners is a different kind of mode where you focus a little less on hitting your opponents and a little more on collecting coins that fall across the map. Now, yes, you're gonna still need to violence on your opponents, because, you know, they're also gonna try and take the coins. Then once you hit the opponent, it'll take out half of the coins that they have, from my knowledge, because I don't know that entirely. I've been playing this game for years and I still don't know that. Anyway, you collect the most amount of coins as a team in order to win. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward after that. So, now that you have learned everything there is to know about Mario Kart Wii, or at least from a baseline sort of knowledge.
Mario, yeah!
It's not supposed to be a super pro tutorial or anything. It's supposed to be a nice friendly tutorial for you to use.
Here we go!
For anyone that may want to start playing Mario Kart or something like that. Now, I genuinely hope that this tutorial genuinely helped you. Okay? I hope that you, or anyone that wants to play Mario Kart Wii for the first time, has a great time trying to do it. And be sure to share this video to any others who would like to learn how to play this game. And with that, thanks for watching, and I will catch you all later.